they're very limited in what they can do because the Eagles have great options offensively. So Spagnuolo stacked the box, took away Saquon Barkley in Super Bowl 59. And Devontae Smith and Jalen Hurts hit the big number, hit that dagger route.
The great Sal Paolantonio, host of the ESPN NFL Matchup Show since 2004. Longest-running sports program in the nation, author of numerous NFL books, and the senior correspondent for ESPN. Sal, how are you?
Pat, I'm doing great. Great to be back on the air with you. How are you? Good.
I'm doing good, Sal. Thank you very much. Thanks for your support throughout the whole thing. And thanks for my record and fact book. All right. I've already bent the cover back. All right.
That's good. Yeah. Well, let's thank Shane Ramsey of the Eagles PR department for being so kind to ship it to you directly.
Yes. That was awful nice.
Thanks. On the road, so the Eagles PR department's supporting This Week in Pro Football, as it should be.
All right, Sal, let's go. Before we get to the break, I want to hit you with I'm always fascinated by these week one overreactions. There's no preseason anymore. They just throw the ball out there on the first Sunday in September and say, all right, go play. But everybody reacts like it's week 17. So let me hit you with a couple and give me your thoughts, all right?
Yep.
The Detroit Lions will not get over the loss of Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson.
Well, they certainly are going to miss Ben Johnson. There's no question about that. I think with the rest of that defensive staff and that defensive personnel that they have, I think they can regather themselves from that disaster in Green Bay. I knew they would have trouble in Green Bay. I said from the get-go that was an absolute must-win for Matt LaFleur at home. Packers were 1-5 in the division last year. They had to win that game, and they had to win it big. They just brought in Micah Parsons. It had all the makings of a rout, and it was. I think they definitely will miss Ben Johnson and his creativity and his play calling. They don't have a dual-threat quarterback. They don't have a quarterback like Jalen Hurts who can get them out of trouble when one aspect of the offense is shut down. And if you shut down Jared Goff and that deep passing game, problem.
Yeah.
He can't escape. He can't escape. I don't have the Detroit Lions making the playoffs this year, Pat.
All right, Sal. Now that's great that you make a comment like that because, I from you, I don't consider it an overreaction, right? But it'll be something, Sal, if the Lions window closes that fast because they, a year ago, 2 years ago, they were looked on as a serious Super Bowl contender, but I have my doubts about Goff too. We'll see if he can, we'll see. Sal, the second overreaction. This is finally the year of the Kansas City Chiefs' descent.
I don't believe that's true. I think when you have Andy Reid, Steve Spagnuolo, Patrick Mahomes, you're not going to see a descent. I think they're going to struggle like they did against the Chargers. They didn't seem to have their heart in the trip to Brazil. Having made that trip last year, Pat, I can tell you, see these gray hairs, they got grayer. That's a tough trip. It's a tough trip. It's a super tough turnaround. And I didn't play a football game.
Right.
So it's a long plane ride from California and Kansas City to Sao Paulo and to play a football game. I didn't see the inspiration that they usually play with, especially considering they got steamrolled in the Super Bowl. I think they'll bounce back in this game. I sent you the numbers. Patrick Mahomes II is 11-4 as an underdog in his career. 11-4. So this is the 16th time he's been an underdog in his career.
Yeah.
And 11-4 is the best record as an underdog as a quarterback in the Super Bowl era. I think they will bounce back, but the Eagles are a very, very tough team. They are a difficult team to beat because they're well coached and the quarterback's locked in right now. I think Jalen Hurts is the best quarterback in the league right now.
Really? Well, let me bring up another. The last thing I wanted to ask you about before the break was another quarterback who you'd get an argument about, and that's Josh Allen. what is it about this guy, Sal, that the way he takes command of a game, and he's throwing lasers 30 yards down the field, and with 4 minutes to go, down 15 points. Like it's the middle of a preseason game.
Yeah, I have the Bills and the Eagles in the Super Bowl, Pat. I think the Bills, when you look at their schedule, it's very favorable. All the playoff teams that are tough within the conference and outside the conference, they all play them in Orchard Park.
Including Philadelphia, right?
Philadelphia, Kansas City, they just beat Baltimore. Cincinnati has to go there this year.
Right.
They have a very favorable schedule. Listen, we've seen Sean McDermott coach small. Now, James Cook has a hamstring injury, their premier running back. So that's an issue with them. That is definitely an issue. So, they have to have balance on offense. They must be able to run the ball to be effective in the passing game with Josh Allen. You can't put a cape on him every week and expect him to bail you out. That's what Jalen Hurts has. Jalen Hurts has Saquon Barkley. And that's an important component of what Jalen Hurts can do, both as a runner and a thrower of the football.
Yeah. Yep. Well, he certainly can. And it's a great comparison, Allen to Hurts, because, Hurts didn't overdo it. He did Thursday, exactly what he did all last season. He just, defense gave it to him. He took it, and they win the game. So, and Sal, just a word about the Eagles and the Cowboys. I wouldn't call it. I mean, it was a good win for Philadelphia. They didn't have to do. I thought Dallas played better than I expected. To tell you the truth, I thought they ran the ball a little better, but of course, it certainly helped that 98 wasn't in the game. But my question is on the other side. We talked about Jalen Hurts, but Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown combined 4 receptions for 24 yards. Anything to read into that?
Well, Puka Nacua had 130 receiving yards. He was the leading receiver in week 1 in the National Football League, and the Rams scored a grand total of 14 points.
Right.
So be very, very careful
how
you read into passing game numbers in the NFL.
Right.
We are in the middle of a running back revolution in the National Football League. The top 9 teams last year in rushing attempts all made the playoffs, Pat Callahan, and the Eagles led the way in that category and won the Super Bowl. So, the Rams were one of the top 9 in rushing attempts last year. To me, don't look at A.J. Brown and how he played the game as a blocker in the running game. Now, of course, you want the ball to go to A.J. Brown. Don't get me wrong. There are going to be opportunities for A.J. Brown. But Eberflus, the Dallas coordinator, coached with Nick Sirianni for 3 years in Indianapolis. He knows the passing game concepts of Nick Sirianni and that offense inside and out. They did a really good job, Dallas, of matching up the routes defensively. And that forced Jalen Hurts to look away from A.J. Brown a lot. Now, can Kevin Patullo be more creative? Yes. Can Jalen Hurts take more chances with A.J. Brown and the football? Sometimes, yes. Trust A.J. Brown to come down in a tight window with a football. That's his calling card. Super strong receiver with great hands. He will fight for the ball and take it away and make sure he comes down with it. High point, whatever it is, he's super strong. So Jalen Hurts has to take more chances, and Kevin Patullo has to be more creative in getting A.J. Brown the football. But Brown did a great job as a blocker.
All right.
He really did.
Yeah. All right. Well, look, you answered that.
He earned his money in that game, Pat. He did.
All right. Well, certainly the statistic you threw out about top 9 rushing attempt teams all made the playoffs. That about answers that question. So the Eagle passing game, I think, you're right. I think it will answer the bell when it needs to be rung. I guess the question is, you hate to see the first time you need the passing game. There's a minute and a half to go and you're 70 yards away. But certainly they're a veteran enough team, I think, Sal. They can jump on that horse quick enough. The Chiefs you mentioned, they're not desperate. I mean, it's only week 2. I wouldn't use the word desperate. But what will Kansas City do defensively that they certainly didn't do in the Super Bowl?
They're very limited in what they can do because the Eagles have great options offensively. So Spagnuolo stacked the box, took away Saquon Barkley in Super Bowl 59. And Devontae Smith and Jalen Hurts hit the big number, hit that dagger route.
Right.
Over the top. That's what was going on there. You throw it when they think you're going to run it, and you run it when they think you're going to throw it. I mean, the game is not much more complex than that. And when you have those kinds of options available to you offensively, the Eagles have 2/3 of their salary cap on offense, devoted to their offense for a reason, because they have great offensive players. And I just think the way Jalen Hurts manages the offense at the line of scrimmage, getting out of bad plays, getting into good ones, he's right now on the top of his game. He really is. And the balance that they have on offense is the best in the National Football League. You mentioned the Bills. You talked about Josh Allen right away. But if Josh Allen had Saquon Barkley, we'd have a different conversation. If Josh Allen had the Eagles' offensive line, which is the largest, heaviest offensive line in the National Football League and so difficult to penetrate in the passing game. And who else has Mailata and Lane Johnson as anchors on the outside of that offensive line?
I know.
You have 2 Pro Bowlers who were at the top in Pro Football Focus grading in both run stopping and pass blocking. Pass blocking and run blocking.
Right. That's amazing. That's amazing that they've been able to keep that offense together too. Done a great job. We talked about that, how good a job the front office has done. All right, Sal, the other side of the ball, the Chiefs could not handle the Eagles' 4-man rush. Simply couldn't handle it. So what is Kansas City now going to have to do to try and offset that? Is it going to be 12 personnel the whole game?
Well, let's remind everybody, in case you forgot, Vic Fangio did not bring the blitz once in Super Bowl 59. 0 blitzes. And yet they tormented, tortured, steamrolled that Kansas City Chiefs offensive line and absolutely obliterated Patrick Mahomes II in the pocket like he's never been hit before. Never. Right. So there's a couple of things going on there. One, the Chiefs offensive line, was not up to the task. 2, I don't think Patrick Mahomes II moves as well as he has in the past because of all the leg injuries he's had. Now, he may be better now, but I don't think he is as quick or maneuverable. And 3, 98, Jalen Carter. By the way, if Jalen Carter's on the field, Eagles cover it on Thursday night. They blow the Cowboys out.
Yeah, I thought, Dallas obviously ran the ball much better than anybody thought, and I think that's a huge reason why he wasn't there.
Most double-team defensive tackle in the NFL, Jalen Carter.
Yeah.
And so the Eagles are right now susceptible in their secondary, but I don't see the Chiefs taking advantage of that. Beyond Travis Kelce, they have injuries at all the other wide receivers position.
I know.
The Eagles have to figure out the left corner spot because they do have to play good quarterbacks. They got to play your guy, Stafford, week 3 coming in. Nix has proven that he can play. Josh Allen, they got to play Josh Allen in Buffalo. Jaden Daniels did a really good job up until about the second half of the NFC Championship game. So they got to play him. They've got some good quarterbacks. They got to go to Green Bay and play Jordan Love. Green Bay, if you look at Green Bay, I mentioned it before, Pat. They were 1-5 in the NFC North, and yet they won double-digit games. They were in the playoffs. If they flip the script of their record in the division, and you look at their schedule, which is they start back-to-back at home against the division rival, and then the team in the NFC Championship game goes on the road on a short week to Green Bay. I mean, that's a layup. The NFL
That's a gift from the NFL there. You're right.
By the way, why do the Eagles have to go to Kansas City and play the Chiefs?
I don't know.
Passing them in the Super Bowl, Pat. You
Yeah.
saw that note I sent you. And I know people are going to say, well, they were just in Brazil. They get to be home. All right. Well, then schedule the Chiefs at the Eagles later in the season. The Chiefs should have to come to Philly.
Yeah, I often wonder that, Sal, because 4 years ago, the Eagles played the Chiefs. That rotates every 4 years what division they play. That game was in Kansas City. Remember, it was a Monday night game. And so I don't know how the league, it just appears to be happenstance as to where you play an interconference team. In other words, it's not every other time you play them at home. I don't know. But
well, Sirianni talked about it today. Nick Sirianni, the Eagles head coach, he said in his 4 years that he's been there, he has played 4 teams in all 4 years: the Chiefs, Giants, Commanders, and Cowboys. So it's almost like a division rivalry. That's how much they know one another. And of course, he coached in Kansas City. As you know, he got to start there. He knows the organization inside and out. If Jalen Hurts doesn't turn the ball over, I think the Eagles will win the game. I think the Eagles will win the game on Sunday.
I think they're going to win the game too, Sal. I mean, I can't Kansas. First off, I discount revenge as a factor. They're all big boys here. They're all getting paid a lot of money. I don't think revenge means a thing. It's it's the Jimmys and the Joes. It's just my opinion, but like Bill Parcells famously said. But I think the Eagles are better than Kansas City, and if that Eagle team shows up, I think they're going to win.
Offensive line and defensive line is better. Better running back. Yep. Better wide receivers. Yep.
Yeah. And as you mentioned, maybe the better quarterback, which I know is heresy to say in the NFL, but the guy's playing pretty good. So I don't think Kansas City has a decided advantage there. Now, Sal, before I let you go, I know you're going to be in the booth Sunday. Seattle traveling east to Pittsburgh to face the offensive juggernaut Pittsburgh Steelers. And I'm curious as to your thoughts there as you prepare to do the analysis for the game for ESPN. What Aaron Rodgers was that who showed up Sunday, and do you expect to see more of him?
I just love this opportunity to be in the ESPN radio booth with Steve Levy. I was in the booth at MetLife with Levy last Sunday when the Steelers won that dramatic game by 2 points over the Jets. Don't tell my bosses, but this is the thing that I really want to do. Hopefully they're not watching. I mean, I love being on the radio with Steve Levy and in the booth. I mean, how can you not love it? Yeah. When you call a game on radio, you really get a chance to breathe and explain yourself. There's time. You really, and with a guy like Steve Levy, who's just a consummate professional, brings so much energy. It's just the joy of a lifetime.
Right.
Yeah. What I'll tell you this. Here's the one thing that's not being reported, and what I saw pre and post and during the game. Aaron Rodgers really likes Arthur Smith. He really likes the way Arthur Smith called the game. And Aaron Rodgers has had a lot of prickly relationships with his coaches.
With everybody.
Right, but yeah. So he and Arthur Smith have got something special going there. They adjusted well when Aaron Rodgers was getting swallowed up by the Jets defensive line. They adjusted. They moved him out of the pocket. They did a little boot action. They did those little skinny baby rollouts. They made it a little bit more creative wrinkle in the pocket so that he would be more of a moving target. They used boot action, play action, got him out, moved him to his right. And that really opened things up in the passing game. And several times after Rodgers hit a big play, he would turn to the Steelers sideline and point at Arthur Smith as a gesture of respect.
Yeah.
And if that is the case with Metcalf and those tight ends, they're going to be tough offensively, Pat.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah. I've covered a lot of Steelers games. They haven't had a passing game since Ben Roethlisberger was there.
Yeah. That could be very interesting in the AFC North if he is able to solidify that offense. Pittsburgh may not be a bad team. They might have something to say in that division.
Well, they won 10 games last year, Pat. Yeah. I mean, with Rodgers, he's got to be good for 2 more games. He's got to be good for 12 wins.
Very interesting. Well, listen, I want you to have a good time at that game Sunday, and looking forward to talking to you again next week. The time just flies by here, Sal. We picked right up where we left off, and thanks for taking all the time. Have a safe trip, and we'll be back with you next week. All right?
And I love it, Pat. We talked this week in pro football. We stuck to the script. I love it, baby.
That's it. I was good this week, wasn't I? Right down the line.
I liked it. All right.
All right, Sal. Thanks a lot, pal.